Well, students, now today we are going to discuss History Chapter 6 Education and British Rule. In this chapter, our first topic is education in India before the British rule. It means that we are going through this topic to know about the education before the British rule in India. The elementary education was confined to pathshalas and maktabs. Means before the advent of the British in India, the education was confined to pathshalas and maktabs. And for higher education, there were gurukuls and madrasas. The education was imparted in Sanskrit, Arabic, and Persian. The subjects taught were mainly confined law, religion, logic, medicine, and astronomy, and were based on ancient texts. Scientific research and thinking were at their lowest. It means that scientific research and thinking were not being much developed. Under such circumstances, superstitions and backward customs flourished. During this period, education was neither organized nor supported by the state nor supported by the government. Beginning of modern education in India. The British and many other groups of the society such as Christian missionaries, the indigenous reformers, the European commercial and mercantile classes, etc., felt the need for fundamentally different kind of education in India. All these groups wanted a change in the education system of India to suit their own interest. Similarly, social reformers such as Rajaram Mohan Rai believed that modern education was necessary for eradication of social evils like sati and prohibition of widow remarriage from Indian society. According to the social reformers of India, modern education was compulsory. So let us see how the modern education is spread in our society. Early efforts. In the beginning, the company never realized it as its duty to give education to the Indians. Nevertheless, some British officers tried to make reforms in their individual capacity. In 1781, Warren Hastings did some work in this direction. And after that, in 1792, the resident of Banaras took special interest in spreading education and started several English schools and colleges where English were taught. The missionaries started for the same purpose the Wilson College at Bombay, the Wilson College at Bombay, the Christian College at Madras, and the St. John College at Agra. Rajaram Mohan Rai set up many schools. He set up the Hindu College at Calcutta in 1817 with the help of some British to import English education to the Indians. Thereafter, Charter Act of 1813 This act incorporated the principle of encouraging learned Indians and promoting the study of modern sciences in India. According to the Charter Act of 1813, India, the company was required to keep aside a sum of not less than 1 lakh for the promotion of learning among Indians. Lord Macaulay and decision regarding the medium of instruction 1835. It was during the period of Lord William Bentinck that Lord Macaulay and Rajaram Mohan Rai, a representative of the progressive Indians, made a fort and a decision was taken in 1835 CE to promote the teaching of Western sciences and literature through the medium of English alone. In 1844, when it was decided during the period of Lord Hardinge that only those Indians who had sufficient knowledge of English be appointed on government jobs. Thereafter, Wood's dispatch. Charles Wood, the president of the Board of Control of English East India Company, had an important effect on spreading education in India. When in 1854 he sent a dispatch to Lord Dalhousie, the then Governor General of India. Due to its importance, this dispatch is known as the Magna Carta of English education in India. What were the recommendations of the Woods dispatch? That is given in 7 points on page number 93. The first one is setting up of education department in the provinces. Means each and every provinces has the education department. Universities to be set up in each of the presidency town of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Second recommendation was that it must be compulsory to set up the universities in each and every presidency towns, which were Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. Third one is that private schools and colleges were to be given government grant. Fourth means private schools and colleges were eligible to gain the affiliation from the government. Fourth, a new service called Indian Educational Service Dispatch. The first drawback is that neglect of the common people. It means that by educating the members of the higher and middle classes, only the company created a serious gap between various classes of the Indian people. Second thing is that the medium of instruction. All the subjects were taught through English and the study of Indian languages were neglected. All those who got their training in English considered themselves superior to others. Third one is that neglect of scientific and technical education. The English government never paid any attention towards imparting scientific and technical education, because somewhere in the British government, in the mind of the government, it was pinned that if the Indians would have the knowledge of science and technology, then they would be better than them. That's why by the year 1857, only 3 medical colleges, one each at Calcutta, Bombay and Madras, and one engineering college at Roorkee were opened. Fourth one is that neglect of the women's education. The education of girls was neglected. No funds were set aside for the education of women, as women's education had no utility for the English. On the other hand, in doing so, They were afraid of hurting the sentiment of the Indian people, as the conservative Indian opinion was against giving any education to their women folk. However, English education did bring the Indians into contact with rational and scientific ideas and with development in science and technology. Indians became familiar with writings of great philosophers such as Rousseau, Voltaire, and Thomas Paine, which later on inspired a number of Indians with the fire of nationalism. And after that, the idea of national education. British officials were not the only people who were thinking of spreading education in India. Many English educated Indians also supported the spread of education. There were other Indians who did not believe in English education. Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore were two such Indians. They devised their own scheme of education. Yes. Next topic is how did Indian respond to English education? Indian Indians, those who received English education, initially discarded their Indian identity. They followed English lifestyle, spoke English language, and adopted English custom. English education gave them an opportunity to get employment in government jobs. Only a small group of people had benefited from English education. Later, many of them gave up their jobs and lucrative practices and joined the Indian national movement. Baroda. The new educational reform were not implemented in states ruled by the Indian princes. However, the individual rulers took keen interest in educating their people. Shaji Rao Gaikwad III was the Maharaja of Baroda state, now that is known as Badodara, and is notably remembered for reforming much of his state during his rule. He played a key role in educational and social reform. In this include a ban of child marriage, provision of divorce, spread of education, development of Sanskrit, religious studies, and women's education. In 1907, he made primary education compulsory and free in Baroda. The literacy rate in Baroda became higher than other British administered states. The Baroda College was developed into the Maharaja Shaji Rao University of Baroda by Pratap Singh Rao Gaikwad in 1949. As per the wishes of his grandfather Shaji Rao, Pratap Singh Rao also settled the Sir Shaji Rao Diamond Jubilee and Memorial Trust, which still exists. Thereafter, the University of Aligarh grew out of the efforts of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who in the aftermath of the Indian Rebellion of 1857 felt that it was important for Muslims to receive modern education and became involved in the public life and government services of India at that time. The British decision to replace the knowledge of Persian in the 1830 as essential for government employment and as the language of court of law caused deep anxiety among Muslims of the subcontinent. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan then clearly foresaw an imperative need for the Muslims to acquire proficiency in the English language. He began to prepare the roadmap of the formation of the Muslim university by starting various schools. In 1875, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan founded the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College in Aligarh and patterned the college after Oxford and Cambridge universities that he had visited on a trip of England. A school for girls was established in 1907. By 1921, the college was transformed into a university and it was named as Aligarh Muslim University. The first chancellor of the university was a lady, Sultan Shah Jahan Begum. In 1927, a school for the blind was established, and in the following year, a medical school was attached to the university. By the end of the 1930s, the university had also developed its engineering facilities. Thank you. This chapter is over, beta.